So we are here at Smash to Pieces number 3. I've got KILA here, former pre-COVID PR player, been playing a bit of Cloud, a bit of Pyramithra, mixture of things. And yeah, but kind of, I guess before going into kind of your next match, how have you just been feeling generally, kind of coming back? You came back pretty recently, like to really competing full time, I'd say. So how's it felt coming back to the offline world after a pretty long, greatly absence, not really playing online at all and everything?
I feel pretty good about offline if I'm able to get to practice. It's just a matter of getting the tournaments on time. I recommend everybody get the tournaments early, because when you get the tournaments like 20 minutes, 30 minutes before, you're not going to get any warm-up. And then if you're a higher-known player, then you tend to get upset that way, right? Because you're not warmed up mentally, physically, hands, and all that. But offline-wise, I've been feeling pretty good, pretty up and down, but I'm not complaining. I'm pretty positive about how I'm doing. So
awesome. How do you feel about? So I've heard some people talk about warming up, and some people just don't seem to mention it at all. For you, is it something that's really important, or do you think generally people underestimate the importance of getting your hands warmed up and just generally getting some practice in before bracket?
I think it's very important depending on the player. I really just need about 10 minutes, because every event that I've ever won, I've only played 3 friendlies. I've always counted 2. Let me wait for my glasses on, dog. There we go. Let's take them off. I think it's pretty important depending also on the character you play, right? Like if you play Cloud, maybe warm-up might not be as important, but if you play Pikachu, then warm-up's very important, right? Because you're going to need to land those combos and all that. So it really depends per player, but I recommend always coming for warm-up anyways.
Yeah, and so feeling like you got here early enough to do a little bit of warming up, and you're going into currently winners quarters, is it, to get out of pools into top 8?
Yeah.
And fighting Monad next.
Yes. He's a very strong Little Mac player. I'm very scared this will be the first time we've ever played an Ultimate. We did play in Smash 4 at an Orbitar when his tag was Apple and nobody knew who he was. He beat Simpledorf and I was a PR contender and he was PR, so very kind of a bad loss on our part before, because we didn't know how good he was, right? And I didn't warm up for this bracket. I kind of got here at like 6:30. I got off school, got off work, and then got here. So my warm up was my round 1.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I remember Apple showing up to an offline basement tier. Didn't know who he was. I don't think I seeded him properly at all. Did I think went 3-2, which at those offline initial basement tiers was really good.
Yeah.
I played him actually when I entered my own bracket. Destroyed me. I never played a Little Mac who just some of the options he did and some of the stuff. I didn't even know Little Mac could do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this low tier character who should be bad and should be abusable. So, is there anything you're going to be looking for specifically in the matchup, or just that you know about him that you're going to try and exploit, or are you just going to kind of try and maybe play a little bit more reserved, just just respect the fact that he's really strong and that Little Mac can just blow you up really easily?
Well, I'm always going to respect Little Mac because he's such a scary character to fight. I don't care if he's the worst character in the game, a character that can kill you really early, you always want to watch out for him. Monad himself has pretty good combo game. That's pretty weird coming from Little Mac. It's more like situational awareness, where I tech, he's already there, and then he punishes him, and then he knows where I'm going after that. So honestly, pretty scared to fight him because I'm not comfortable fighting Little Mac, but we'll see. My game plan is to catch his dash-ins and camp him out pretty hard, because you can't really do much about camping. It's all really about how much discipline I have, I think, in this next set.
Right. Yeah. And I remember playing him, and just his consistency with his down tilts into conversions was really good. Up B out of shield usage, which I was I didn't even know that Little Mac could do that.
Exactly.
And just his timing on reads and stuff. And I was just dying at 75, 80%.
For sure. And there's so many things you got to worry about Little Mac. You can't shield too much because you're going to get forward smash, down forward smash, which breaks shields. Or you can get grabbed. Or you touch his shield, he's going to up B, he's going to get all that damage. Because to Little Mac, any type of damage is good damage because he can kill you at really early percent.
Yeah. And then just, so it sounds like conservative, maybe campy play.
Yeah.
Just from your perspective, being back a little while, How do you look at the scene in terms of like the spread of players? Because I mean, my general perspective, and I think most people would agree, pre-COVID there was kind of like this group of players who was kind of like in this rung of PR that was consistent, and there was kind of another lower rung of PR, and then kind of everyone else. And now that line is gone. It's been very muddied, and like, I mean, you were one of those players who like before you come back, people were like, is KILA still going to be a big threat? Is still be top 8ing stuff? And like, I mean, clearly you top 8'd this last one, so it's like, how do you feel you fit into that? And just generally, in terms of the scope of where players are sitting right now, like, what's your perspective on like how that's kind of fleshing out in this initial starting PR season?
I feel like there's like 3 buses that just passed by.
I know.
I feel like for this starting PR season, it's really interesting, right? Because with all the bracket caps, we can't truly see a lot of the matchups that we want to see, which is there's like 40 good players now, which is kind of scary.
So you'd peg that, but for you the number is 40 actual legit threats in terms of like people who are like on a good day they can do really well.
On a good day, I think at least 30. And I'm not joking, because I can make a list right now, everybody that's good, and the people who are inactive too, haven't even shown up to a tournament, that have talked about coming to one that I know are good. It's going to be an interesting set of events that lead to PR. I really hope that the cap kind of increases a little bit, despite all the guidelines and stuff. Because there's just so many good players. There's a lot of matchups I would personally want to see. How I fit in, I think me on a good day, I think I can win a tournament over really good players because I've beaten everybody on the PR. Even if it's H4DS, I haven't beaten him in like 2 years, and I beat him before he was somebody. Still, I've beaten him. I've beaten every single player on the PR in Washington. So I have a strong belief in myself that I can do it. It all depends on mentality, warm up, and I guess that's it. Just mentality and warm up. Execution. That's very important too. Right now, I think I fit in around like the 15 to 20 range. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on me too, which I don't understand because I'd be beating a lot of people.
That was my next question. Who do you think a couple people who are the most slept on? So I think Monad is probably pretty slept on.
He's slept on, but there's a lot of people on the PR that I think would give trouble just matchup wise.
Right.
So it's
But he's part of that 30 or so, like 30, 40.
No, for sure. He might be a PR contender because he just beat Cyan yesterday.
Dang. And that's an awful matchup.
It's actually not that bad.
Really?
I'll be honest, because you cannot up air Little Mac. You can't juggle. Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. We could explain it for another time, but I think the most slept on people, definitely me, because nobody ever talks about me. It's like, I don't really care either way because I'm gonna just beat their ass anyways.
There you go, dude. Just call it out.
And I don't know. I can't think of anybody else. Maybe Yazers on a good day. I think Yazers is really good still. And people sleep on him. Oh, and Caps. Nobody ever talks about Caps, but he's a Greninja player that was PR at one point in Smash 4.
But is he... So, yeah, because I don't know how active he still is. I think he came to the first one of these.
Yeah.
I don't know if he went to Orbitar.
He'll be active, yeah.
Because I remember his Greninja was sick. He was really good.
He's really good. There's just so many players I could list. Nilet, I don't know how to say their new tag, but it was Slow Dancer. Max, he's really good. People sleep on him. And Goody. Goody's a new one that I guarantee he will be PR.
Yeah, I think I've heard generally the fringe PR, that 15, because we're going to 15 for sure.
Yeah.
That, like, fringe PR, it's like Goody, potentially, Embo could potentially, if he starts to maybe get slightly better results, he could be in there. I mean, based off, I'm more of a numbers guy, so I think you're for sure in that contention. If you can get top 8s at events like this.
I've also beaten Embo. I won my last event.
Exactly. If you can get top 8s consistently at any event, frankly, because all of our events are pretty stacked, then you're a contender for sure. I remember Yazers being really good. Again, just how active they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a crazy. It is really crazy. Just some of the people who have come up, like FTP, obviously in there. And he's not slept on. Just the fact that he's like for sure in there now, and there's other people who are like, everyone's beating everyone. So it's just a really interesting time.
Yeah. I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
It'll be interesting once this season comes to a close. Once we've had a couple big events, and obviously, well, I guess we'll end on this. predictions for port priority in terms of like maybe an upset or a player who's going to go far, or maybe a player who's going to bust her out or something like that?
I think, I kind of think that Kandarian is not going to do too good because she tends to not do good at events where she has good support. I think events where she has no support, she does really well, and sorry to say, I think Justice might do really well just because of matchups, and nobody really understands how to fight Min yet.
Right.
Other than, I think Pokepen will do really well if he's in the right mindset, and Ludo will do really well.
Yeah, Ludo has been this really just like, he's just so consistent.
And I talked to him a little bit about how to round out my game, and man, his advice was so crazy to me. The things that he does to improve is actually insane. He has multiple avenues of training, and I don't know, man, he's very admirable, for sure.
Yeah, no, there's interesting predictions. We'll see if any of them come to fruition.
Oh, yeah, me. I expect to get, like,
what are you?
top 8.
You're saying top 8?
I'm just kidding, but it's not far out. Who knows?
Because who knows? Because we got players flying it. We got a lot of crazy. I mean, MK Leo, ESAM, I think.
Yeah.
I'm blanking. I'm sorry, Scott, for all the PR players. All the players are coming from out of state. But we got, I think, a top 8's worth of out of state people coming in. So it's going to be contention for that. But even top 16 would be huge at an event
for
like
me.
that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the best I've ever gotten was like 9th at a C-tier event. Still pretty solid.
Still really good.
That's
yeah.
PGR. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I expect to do well though, because if I'm in the right mindset, I'll camp the fuck out of anybody.
Awesome. Let's end it on that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, KILA, for the interview, and good luck on your match.
Thank you.
Smash to Pieces 3, thank you. Over and out.